Today is June 10th, 2014. My name is Lisa Klinger. I'm one of the benefits attorneys at the Levitt Group and GBS. And today's speaker is Ken Spencer, who's with HR Service, Inc. And HR Service, Inc. is the new outside Wrap SPD vendor that is going to be providing Wrap documents for us. Ken Spencer will be explaining today how the system works and what documents are available and what the pricing is and how brokers can manage their different clients and products online. As the initial announcement told you, all attendees are in listen-only mode. So if you want to ask a question, please type it in. Probably it's on the box on the right-hand side of your screen, unless you've moved it. And I will try to check on the questions every so often and let Ken know when we have questions. And then also if there will be more time at the end of the presentation if people have questions. So I'm going to turn it over to Ken at this point.
Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate the introduction and the opportunity to work with you guys. Hey, so for starters, I'm going to walk you through a couple of key challenges that you're facing, your clients are facing right now, and it will tie in how we can help you with those things with these services. And as Lisa mentioned, if you have any questions as you go, feel free to type in your question and we'll address them as we go. So the first issue that you're confronted with, and most of you have heard the rumors about the Department of Labor increasing their audits. They've hired thousands of more auditors. They're conducting audits, ERISA audits, as well as other kind of Department of Labor audits. We specifically have had 3 clients audited within the past couple of months. One of them was a 15-person group. One was a 44-person group, and the other was larger. So it's coming in under fire here, groups of any size. The 44-person group, the broker actually called the auditor and said, "Why are you auditing us?" And the response was, "We're going to audit all plans by 2018. And that was quite an eye-opener for us. We had heard the rumors before. We didn't realize for sure, are they going to talk to everyone? But they say they're going to contact everyone. So this is a challenge. We have to begin to prepare our clients have them be ready so that they can successfully pass these audits. Some of the things that they're looking for, and we have available the actual audit letter that was sent to the smaller company. I imagine it's the same letter that goes out to everyone, but I'll make this available to anyone who would like to see a letter. In fact, I'll copy Lisa on that as well, so she's got that. This is a very high-level summary of some of the things they were looking for. They wanted a summary plan description for each of the health and welfare benefit plans, medical, dental, life, disability, etc. They also they were looking for various notices, like the women's health and cancer, the newborns, mental health and parity. They were verifying if they were completing these notices as well. Of course, 5500 reports. And that only applies if they have 100 or more participants on a plan. And then they were checking on some PACA compliance items as well. So it was interesting to see that they were following up to see if these things were being implemented and such. So this is a very high-level view of a 7 to 8 page document of questions that they were looking for. The next problem that I'm going to talk to you about that your groups encounter, depending on the size of the group, depending on their benefits and how they're set up, there's a number of various employee notices that are required. Everything from the general COBRA on down to the summary of benefits and coverage. Some of these don't apply, depending on if they have a grandfather plan or a wellness plan, depending on size, like mental health and parity only applies to 50 or more. But it's a challenge getting our customers, getting clients to send out these notices to make sure that they're taken care of. And I know Lisa offers a service and helps with a lot of these as well, but these are a challenge getting people to get these things sent out. The other challenge that you're running into and your clients are faced with, and this is nothing that you're not familiar with as well, the laws are just constantly changing. There's always something new that's going on with PACA or ERISA, other changes in employment laws and such that your clients are being faced with. So we've created this overall service, and I'll show you how we can either help you as a bundled approach with the overall service or breaking out just like the summary plan description service. But I'm going to walk you through some of these things now. So the service, the Compliance Basics plus SPD Wrap service is what this is called. The first thing we do to help you and your clients is we give them what they need to know and do when it's needed. We do that in two ways. Every month we send them out a legal update, and by the way, we'd include your logo. This is another broker logo from an actual legal update that went out. But every month we give them key compliance reminders. What are the actions? What are the changes? What do they need to do? We cover key federal changes, items that's going on from a federal standpoint. Some of them they have to click on to expand and to see more detail. But we also give them state-by-state changes. So they can click on whatever states apply to them wherever they have employees, and they can get more information about legal changes that's gone on. The second piece of this is we give them, it's called an HR bulletin. It's a best practice. We take this one topic and we go into it in more detail. We provide them with, so like we've covered how to set up a wellness plan. We've covered how to implement HIPAA. We've covered sometimes some things even dealing with HR. Here's an example of one we did on passing an ERISA compliance audit. And so again, so they get two things from us each month. One is the legal update, and one is the HR bulletin, which is just a one-topic best practice article. Okay, well, back to this list of all the various notices that we looked at just a moment ago. We've created a web-based tool that's part of this Compliance Basic service where it will customize and pull in an all-in-one notice that will actually populate the Medicare Part D and pull in whichever notices apply to the client, and it will customize those and email it to the client in a ready-to-deliver format. There's also, you'll see inside of here, there's a section for where we help with the health exchange notice. Even though the health exchange notice was due back in October, they still have to provide the health exchange notice to all new hires. Now, where these other notices in this bracket only go to participants in the plan, the health exchange notice is one that goes to all employees. Let me go out of this now, and I'm actually going to go in and show you what this service looks like, some of the web-based tools that's online here. So I've signed in now. I've logged in this is a client view for a moment. So the client, if I were signed up here for this service and I wanted to go in and run that all-in-one notice to take care of all those notice requirements, if I went under my employee notice report, inside of here, I would then answer the various questions about my company, answer questions about my medical insurance plan, and you see the answers to these questions then is what populates the Medicare Part D. Populates whether they have brings in the women's health and cancer, the newborns, the CHIP, mental health and parity, and all the other notices that apply to them, and it customizes it for them. They put in their medical renewal month because our system will also automatically remind them 30 days ahead of time to come back in and run that notice again. Once they know their changes and whatever's going on for their benefits, and they go in and they make the changes inside of here, and then they click this button to generate health exchange or generate the employee notifications document. So then that would come over. I'm going to go ahead and push that now. Let me make sure I'm listed in here. Okay. So I'm going to generate one. Now, before I do that, I could have also ran my health exchange notice right here. So the questions that were answered above here, it would populate and pull out the correct health exchange notice. So they've got that there to give to all new hires as well. So I'm going to run this one, and then that'll be emailed over to me here in just a moment. While that's coming over, I wanted to show you a couple of other things inside of this service as well, where they could access, we have various trigger and event notices in here, like all the latest FMLA. Most of them have a COBRA service, but if they are doing COBRA on their own, we have template COBRA letters, we have a HIPAA breach letter, all of that inside of here. They can access all of our past legal updates, either searching by topic or by the actual update. We have a section in here where they can access all of our past HR bulletins, or the best practice articles. So they can come in here and click on any topic they're looking for. They've got all this information inside of here. Now, I wanted to, one of the most important pieces of this overall solution that we've talked about is having these summary plan descriptions prepared for each of their health and welfare benefit plans. If they click this link to go into the SPD Wrap Service button, this takes them into our SPD Wrap Center. Now, most of you probably are familiar with what a wrap document does, but I'm just going to briefly explain that. An SPD Wrap document creates one overall plan document, one overall summary plan description that then wraps around all their component plan documents, creating one overall summary plan description and pulling in the missing insurance company information and pulling in the required ERISA language all into this document. So if someone has this document, they could also, if they have this document, it will meet the requirement for the summary plan description for all of them. So you can take the option of going out and creating your own separately for each of the medical and dental and life and disability, or you can use a wrap service like this and create one overall plan document and summary plan description. There's some other benefits of that. I mean, for one thing, it makes it a little easier to communicate with employees. You've got this one document. You've got everything pulled together into one. If you're doing the 5500 reporting, where in the past you perhaps completed one 5500 for each medical and dental and life and 125 plan, etc., now you would only have to complete one 5500 report for just this one overall summary plan description wrap document that you submit in. So again, there's some advantages to doing that. Now I notice we have a few questions, so I'm going to stop for just a minute and address some of these questions here. So I wanted to mention that there will be another training event that will take place for the account managers on the 18th at the same time frame. So, so any of your account managers, that would be good to suggest that they connect in on that one. Also, I will make available these slides, so I'll make copies available as well of the slides, and I'll probably make that available through Lisa, so I'll provide her with a copy, and then she can copy it around to anyone that wants it from there.
Ken, just to let you know, I can't see the questions. This is Lisa. So I didn't realize there were any. That's why I haven't. I thought I'd be able to see them, but that's why I haven't let you know. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. I have Lisa on as a panelist here today, and I thought she'd be able to see them, but for some reason it's not coming up for her, but that's okay. So there's another question that says, how can I get on the email list for the bulletins so that my clients are seeing? Once you begin setting clients up on our services, we'll include you on the legal update and the bulletin automatically. In fact, we usually send it to you a couple of days ahead of time just to make sure we're not surprising you with anything that you didn't already know about. We hope we don't bombard you with questions that come from your clients. It doesn't happen very often, but we want to make sure that you're informed as well. So we will copy you on the items that we give. Now, Lisa, there's a question for you here, so I'm going to read this and I'll let you respond. It says, Lisa, I'd love to hear your thoughts on why you selected this vendor. I know you were looking for at a number of them. Do you want to, I don't know, Lisa, if you want to answer that?
Yes. I was going to jokingly say because you bribed me, but that's really not true. And since we're recording this, that probably would be the wrong answer. One of the big reasons is because you do have this, the platform or the online way of doing it, and also storing it electronically, and so that the broker and or the client can go in and make changes, and there's no additional cost, and it's easy to do, even if it's the wrap SPD and the client changes carriers. So for, or if it's some other change that the client initiates, as opposed to being a change that needs to be made because of a change in the law. so some of the other services were charging $150 to $300 for any changes to be made to the document. And that is a serious problem. Also, I thought your pricing's really good. You're going to talk about pricing, but the pricing is really good on these products. And in order for the products to be used for whether it's the Wrap SPD or the notices or the other document is a premium-only plan, it has to be something that's affordable for us and our clients. Otherwise, it's not going to get used. So those are the two main reasons. And looking at all we looked at about 4 different vendors, and I think the products themselves were good in all of them. I mean, they meet the legal requirements, so that that wasn't an issue. The other thing is 2 of the other services provided it as 2 separate documents, a Wrap SPD and a Wrap document, which some people believe you need and others don't. The problem I think we have and a lot of our clients have is if we give them 2 30-page or 40-page documents, it's really overkill and they don't know what to do with them. And I think that from a practical standpoint, it's fine to use one document that can be both the Wrap SPD and the Wrap document. And so I liked that aspect of it also. So those are the 3 main reasons, but I'd be glad to talk with anyone afterwards if you have other particular questions on that.
Thanks, Lisa. So the last question for now, and feel free to keep bringing your questions over, is the question is, aren't the exchange notices voluntary for the employer to distribute? So I'm going to answer this, and then Lisa, feel free to kick in if you disagree or have other comments on this. The exchange notices are, legally we're required to provide the exchange notice, and we're supposed to have sent that out back in October, and then we were also supposed to continue to give it to all new hires. So it is the law. However, they have not been penalizing. There's no teeth in it. And so I think a lot of people have viewed it, well, then it's voluntary if there's not a penalty if I don't do it. Is that your understanding as well, Lisa?
Yes, I completely agree. But I think employers should be giving out that information, and I think you particularly want to give it out because then if people terminate, you want them to know about the exchange and go online or go to the exchange rather than take COBRA. And also when someone's a new hire, even if they end up not getting coverage from you, from the employer, if they go to the exchange and they have a notice from the employer and they bring it with them, and it says, yes, the employer provides coverage, we believe it's affordable, the individual should not be eligible for a subsidy in the exchange. And so that's one of the first things you want employees to have, because we are hearing from a number of clients that since the open enrollment closed for the exchange, they have employees who are coming in and saying, oh, I got a subsidy on the exchange, I want to drop my employer coverage. And it's employees who have affordable minimum value coverage available and in fact were enrolled. So they really shouldn't be eligible for a subsidy, but it's turning out that they are. So if people have that notice, exchange notice, and if they brought it with them when they enrolled in the exchange, that may preclude some of them from enrolling for coverage subsidized coverage when they're really not eligible.
Thank you. So I had this notice come over here to me now. So I ran this all in one notice, and and it was emailed to me. So I'm just showing you what the client would receive on that, and then I'll come back to the SPD. So this would come here, and I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it will give instructions. It says based on the information you submitted in your company profile attached as your employee notifications document. Then it gives them instructions on distribution. It gives them instructions on going into the Center for Medicare Services and indicating whether they have creditable coverage. Most importantly, it gives them this document where they have this all-in-one notice document that now pulls into one overall report all the various notice requirements that they have. Let me just show you briefly what that looks like. Now this would be their logo and their information that would be inside of here.
And then if you go skim down, now I said I had a grandfather plan, so it included a grandfather plan notice in the template one I filled out. Here's a HIPAA notice. Here's the CHIP, women's health and cancer, the newborns. I also said I had a health and wellness plan, so it gave me a health notice. Here's a mental health and parity notice. Said I had more than 50 employees. It actually included an FMLE notice as well, and then the COBRA notice, and then right on down to the Medicare Part D notice. Okay, so I'm coming back now to this SPD Wrap document. So inside of here, and I'm not going to go through every section of this, filling this out for you, but I will more so with the account managers so they can get a little more detail. So if any of you might be involved in helping your clients fill out one of these, then you may want to participate in that meeting where we'll go into more detail. But this basically, the way this works is either, the other thing that's nice about our service is that both the client or the broker has access to this center. And you can come in. In fact, I'm going to go in and show you the broker center in just a moment here. But you can see here, whatever they filled out in the other section of that company profile would be populated in here. And now they come down, they indicate which benefits they have, and then whatever they've checked here, that's the only things that populate down below. So they have to indicate, they have to show their eligibility, they have to show what happens upon termination, they have to indicate their plan year. And if it's, so here's showing someone that has a fiscal year. If you have a calendar year, they just check the box. And then they come down here for each of the different benefits. So here's the medical, here's the dental, life insurance, LTD that I had checked up above. Once they've filled out this information, then they come down here and they can either save and exit, or they can check this box that says generate the SPD Wrap document. Now, depending on where they've checked here, if they want that document to go to the client or to the broker or to both, that's where the document will be sent. And the document then arrives with instructions on what now has to be included with the document, because now you have, with the SPD Wrap document, now you have to attach the component plan information, like insurance certificates or a brochure or details like that. And then it also gives detailed instructions then on how to distribute it, with emphasis on electronic delivery. We're really big fans of trying to find a way to get it out to folks electronically so you don't have to kill so many of the little baby trees. So I wanted to go back out here for a moment. I'm actually going to sign in now as a I'm going to sign in as a broker so you can see the back-end access. Okay, so signing in as an insurance broker now, if I go under Partner Setup, Clients List, what this will do for me now is, as a broker, I can see all of my clients that are set up on this service. I can also go in and help them fill out any of their information. So just scanning down here, you can see I've got all these clients that are here. If I wanted to go in for this group right here, for example, and I wanted to run that all-in-one notice for them, I could click this Edit Employee Notice document, click this button, and now I'm right in to where I can see the same information that they see, and I could fill this out on their behalf if I wanted, and I could run that notice and have it sent to them or sent to me. I could do the same with the health exchange notice inside of there. If I go back out here, I could do the same for the SPD Wrap questionnaire. So if I hit this Edit SPD questionnaire, I can go inside of here, and again, I'm accessing the same information that they have, and I could go in and fill out parts of this if I wanted to assist and help. Now, you'll notice there's a box down here at the bottom. Our system captures probably 98% of situations with clients that they encounter. Every once in a while, you run into someone who has something odd, a customer who has difficult setups and whatever. Another thing that makes our service different is we do have this reviewed. So if I were to click this button, it's reviewed by a specialist. She's not an attorney. but she's an expert in knowing what needs to be inside of here. She's an expert in determining if you've interpreted the questions correctly. So she looks at the questionnaire before the document is generated. So if there's something that you need to fill out, you could put in that information. If there's something you couldn't fill out up above or you had questions, you could either type it in here or you could just call her. Her name's Anita Johnson, and she'll be your primary contact. She's our customer service manager and our specialist here. So, okay, well, let me, so that's, I'm going to go out of this. But I think you get a feel for how this back-end access works. It shows all of your clients. It shows what they're signed up for. And you can see some clients, like this Barclay Mechanical, they don't have the wrap service. They just have the Compliance Basic service, which allows them to run the all-in-one notice. You can see this client up here also has a 125 POP service, which we offer. So if they want those, if you need those kinds of things, we can assist with any of them. And you can get them separately or you can get them bundled together. In fact, now is probably a good time for me to go back to and show you the rates and how all of that works. So we've set up some special pricing for you that what we've been talking about here so far is the what's called the Compliance Basics Plus Wrap service. And so that's this first one here, keeping in mind that you can get any of these separately. So if you have folks who just want the wrap service only, or if you just want the Compliance Basics or a POP document only, those are all available. And we show pricing here based on this is a monthly rate, a rate per company, and it's based on the number of clients that you have assigned with us. Now we'll actually give you credit for your overall, anyone that's associated with the leverage group would be credited to this total number here. So we anticipate you'll likely be, ultimately getting up here to the platinum level of the 100-plus size. In which case, once they get up to there, then it would be only $10 a month per company for that full comprehensive service that we talked about. So this includes all the legal updates, the bulletins, the notices, and the wrap service. So you can see here if we started out and I started clients on this and they're at $16 a month, at whatever point we cross that new threshold of 21 or more, 21 to 49, then all clients, that rate would go down and so on. So ultimately over time I'd imagine we'll probably get here to the 100 plus, and then it would only be $10 a month per company. And then you can see the same is true if you have just some standalone things. So there's various options here, whether you do the full bundled package or if you just want to do the wrap service only. That's totally up to you. And I will, if you have clients that so this is if we're running the invoicing through you or your organization. That's the pricing here. If you have situations where you just want to refer someone and you don't want to run the invoicing through you, so I want to emphasize that. So this would mean that we're sending you an invoice, and then you're either providing it for the client or you're charging the client and collecting payments for these rates here. If you have situations where you don't want to be involved in the invoicing but you just want to refer the client over, that's not a problem. We're happy to do that. And then these are the annual rates. Your client would then pay annually, and we can just set them up right online. We would still give them 5% off because they work, because they're working with you, and we can still give you back-end access. So we would assign you a special 4-digit partner key, and Lisa, I'll get that partner key out to you, and then we can, circulate that around to folks. So if someone's just wanting to refer someone, they can do that. They can refer them over to us, and we can sign them up, and they can just pay us directly. So if you have that situation. In fact, I'm going to go back to the website here real quick and just show you.
Can I just ask a question? This is Lisa.
Yes, please.
I'm pretty sure you said, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but that on the rates when you're billing Levitt and GBS, you could bill different offices for different amounts. It doesn't have to be all through one billing center. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, so we're fine realizing that you likely have different billing arrangements with the various companies and such that are associated with the Leverett company. So
okay.
Company.
Thank you. Yeah. So it'll be Levitt and GBS.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so we'll invoice separate to the separate offices. So I'm coming back here for just a moment to our main page. If you were talking to a client and you were going to just refer them to sign up online themselves, I just wanted to show you really quickly. They could just go into Get Started Now, and then they could go in here and add. So we were talking about the Compliance Basics Plus service. They could click that service option, say Next, create their username and password, and then they would enter a 4-digit partner key. I apologize, I didn't look up the partner key for you ahead of time, but you have a 4-digit partner key for your organization. We'll likely set up a separate one for the Levitt Group and one for GBS. And then you would give them that partner key, and by giving them the partner key, that's what would give them the discount, and it would also connect you in so that you could go in the back-end access and actually see how see your client and help with any of their documents and such if you wanted to. Okay, I'm going to stop for a second and come back. There are a couple of other questions, so I just wanted to come over here to the questions. It says, how sophisticated is the employer funding section? Lisa and I looked into other vendors whose online systems were not able to handle 75% contributions to EPO, 63% to PPO, 83 to HRA, etc. Let me go back to that screen here, and if I'm understanding the question correctly, it has to deal with the filling out this SPD Wrap document and being able to break out the contributions and the funding. And so I just wanted to show you that. Yes. Yeah,
and one of the things that, and I think I know who's asking that question, on the HR service doc, we can either put in the information on the funding, or you can, I believe, check the box that says the schedule is attached, and then it'll be attached as one of the appendices, and the section in the plan says the payment schedule is in appendix whatever. If I remember correctly.
Thank you. Yep, you're absolutely right.
So that worked very well. No, go ahead. So that worked very well, that we weren't trying to type everything into the document. It refers, the different employer contributions for different locations or different types of benefits plans that they offered was just separate in an appendix.
Yes, thank you. So you have that option here if you want to. So I'm under the medical section here. And by the way, I can have more than one plan. It says, is there another medical plan? I can say yes, and to cover for all the multiple plans I might have. But there's a section here where you could put in the premium information if you wanted to as a percentage or a dollar amount. And sometimes it's useful. It'll actually print it right out in the document. It's handy to communicate it that way. But as Lisa mentioned, if you prefer, there's an option up here where it says, I prefer to skip the employer rate contributions for medical and dental, and I'll attach the document, attach it to the wrap document when it arrives. So if I say yes here, now the rates disappear down below, and now I don't have to put in the rate information. There's a couple of other scenarios here I just wanted to point out that you might run into. If you're purchasing medical insurance over the SHOP, Small Business Health Program, Marketplace, that gets complicated because they may have 40 or 50 plan options inside of there. So instead of listing all of the various plan options, you would just check this box, and it would pop up and say, attach information regarding participation in the SHOP to the document once it arrives. You'll not be asked to insert information about the provider at this time. And so that's the case. And so the medical, you've noticed here now, has disappeared. And then in our document, it'll say that insurance is purchased over the SHOP market, and look for attached details on how to participate. So we just found that was the only way to simplify that. Are there any other questions that anyone else has? Feel free to type over your question. And I wanted to show you just how simple it would be to get someone started on the service here really quick. So the option I just went through with you is if someone was purchasing the service themselves online. So if you're referring someone, then they would just go right on that Get Started Now, as I had mentioned back here. They would hit that. I'm going to go back to the home screen. Okay, so if they hit Get Started Now, They can select whatever service they want. Select next, and then they put in their username and password, and that partner key, which I will provide you. It's a 4-digit partner key, and then that will tie them into you, and that'll give them a discount. And then from here, it would just ask them basic name, address, and then credit card information they can just purchase right online. However, if you're purchasing this and you want to run this through your office, what we'll provide you with is a simple spreadsheet that where you'll just put on some basic information about the clients as you want them signed up, and you'll just forward this over to Anita Johnson or to myself. And here you'll see it's just some basic information: the company name, number of employees, address, phone number, email, and then just indicate which services that you want. So you just put, if I wanted the compliance basics and the SPD Wrap, I would just put an X or a yes in both of those options. If I just wanted a Wrap document only, I just put a yes in the Wrap document only. If I also wanted a premium only plan document, I'd indicate that. And then you just email this over to us, and then we would actually take it from there and sign the client up. And the process, when we sign a client up, it will automatically email them a username and password along with instructions to go in and set up, and how to set up their various documents. It would include your logo or your information saying that it's coming from you as well. So if this is going through you, your logo would be included on the legal updates, the bulletins, and would actually even appear inside of here when they sign in. They would see your logo right here as well. So we're hoping to build your brand.
Logo? That wouldn't be
that's why
a particular office.
That's why what we'll do is we'll set up a separate partner key for each of the offices, because I would imagine GBS, for example, would want their GBS logo to appear.
Right.
And then the Levitt Group would have a Levitt Group logo that would appear if they're going through their office, and so on. So we'll set up a separate partner key and different logos set up for each of those offices.
And we need to send you the logos?
Yes. So send me over the logos, and then I can and then I'll set that up in the system and get over to our graphic artist. We'll also prepare you some handouts. So if you have, we'll customize some handouts for you, so that to help you in communicating the service to your clients and such. So I'm just going to show you an example of what one of the handouts might look like.
Let me just mention two other things. We do have these documents posted on home.levitt under the benefits, employee benefits library and compliance, and then in the Wrap document folder, like the spreadsheet, the Excel spreadsheet that you just showed, where each office could put in each office or broker could put in their clients and what they want to order. So that document is on home.levitt, and also the information on the handouts that on the SPD Wrap and on the basic compliance service. And the other thing I just want to point out to people is the contract does require that if you sign up a client, you're agreeing to sign them up for the particular program or service for a minimum of 1 year. So you can't just sign up for 3 months and get the document and then disengage. So when you're making the commitment, it is for, like if it's $8 a month, it's for $96. And it automatically renews unless you take affirmative action to stop it after a year. But I think it's probably a good enough price that it's something you'll want to keep in place.
Yes,
and
thank
Ken, let me just ask you, on that spreadsheet, would that be per office or per broker within the office? Do you want to get that on a total office basis?
Well, so this is the, you're just putting the clients, and then whichever broker it is that's assigned to that given client, we tie that into our system here. But so anytime you want
4 brokers in one office, do you want one of these sheets per broker or one of these sheets per office, and all 4 of the brokers would list their clients on it?
It's however they want to do it. We're fine either way.
Okay.
If you have multiple brokers, just put the broker's name over here so that we keep it correct inside of our system. You'll also have
Okay.
you would have the same sign-in username and password for the back-end access, for your respective office.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I was going to show you, if you want, I'll actually customize some handouts for you, so I can put your logo on your contact information as well. So if you want that sort of thing, just let me know, and all I would need is your logo and the contact information from there. So, okay, well, that is kind of a quick and dirty overview of everything. So we've gone through, we talked about the compliance basics part of the service, which included the 2 emails, a legal update and due date reminder, and a bulletin. And then we talked about the web-based services. It's all part of the compliance basics service. We talked about the SPD Wrap service, and it can be bundled with the compliance basics plus SPD, or both